GamingDads here. I'm going to do a video tutorial on tips and tricks for World Clash. So when it comes to World Clash, a couple ground rules. First would be, let's go ahead and X out of this, that you don't want to play with boosters. They take time because they typically have ads, and that's time that you don't want to mess with. So I would suggest, unless you're willing to use skip it's just play without boosters. That's going to be the fastest path towards getting as many wins as possible for the victories total that you want. So you'll see in the upper left hand corner I've won about 102 duels. I think I've got another 100 in me before it's all said and done. So I got some work to do. And that leads me to rule number 2. You're going to want to spend some time. I think that it's going to take you a little bit of time to accumulate the 200 or 300 wins that you want if you want to get high up there in the rankings. So keep that in mind. It happens during the week, so that's kind of a challenge for some people who have work-life balance, family balance that they're trying to juggle with the game as well. If you don't have that, then you're probably going to do well. Third thing to consider would be your membership. If you are an elite member, then you're going to not have the ads at the end of the round where you get the ×4. That'll save you a bunch of time too. So those 3 things right there are going to give you a really good leg up on the competition. I'll point out some other things along the way, but for now, just kind of know that going in. But the rest of it's really going to be loadout specific and then gameplay. So I'll walk you through a process on how to decide what is the best loadout for you for Clash, because there's really no any single one loadout that's going to be the best for you. You're going to want to decide for yourself and your game style, your gameplay style, what's the best. So I saw a video online a long time ago of a guy who was using what I've got set right now. Triple, Bat, and then Bumblebee and Mob Copter. And he was top 10. I think he had place 7 whenever he made that video. So it got my attention. I thought, okay, let's give that a try. So I'm going to do a demo of that, and I'll point out some things, and then I'll kind of make changes along the way to reflect what characters people may have, game style things, map changes, and so forth. So I'll kind of walk you through some options to give you an idea of what you can do as a player to do better at World Clash. So first, a demo of what I found online for the top 10 loadout: Triple, Bat, Bumblebee, and Mob Copter. So gameplay strategy, you're going to want to go with the fast path to try to win as quickly as possible. So you look here, you've got to the right and to the left. Left is going to be your fast path. Really the only barrier that keeps you from just going straight up that left and not having any other distractions would be any mobs coming down the right. So you'll see up at the top there, I've got a ninja and a big blob that'll be coming my way. So the ninjas are fast. If it was a slow mob, like a knight, I'd probably be able to get through this pretty quick. So I don't know, I may have to do a little bit of back and forth here, but let's go ahead and go with it. And since I've got that, it's a weak mob, and it's probably not going to get through the ninja as fast as I'd like. So yeah, maybe that'll help. Go ahead and send my champ up. Yeah, that helps. All right, get the mob copter up there. Boom, this should be pretty quick and easy. So a couple things happen there. One, the bat is fast but weak, so it doesn't do it on its own. And I have to run some bats to the right to kind of run interference on those ninjas. Then Bumblebee, his perk is that he runs straight to the front line and then converts. Since I had a fast path, he converted right at the tower and started hammering away on it. And then since he was hammering away on the tower, that charged the ultimate meter, got you the mob copter, and I was able to put that up there and kind of steal the deal pretty quickly. So that's a good map to show that loadout and how it would be helpful for you as a player to just keep doing that again and again and again to get your points and accumulate a high score amount of duels for your World Clash ranking. All right, so you may notice I didn't have to do an ad there. Keep that in mind, that's helpful. Okay, so I'm not going to do another one of those maps because I think you've seen and get the point. So the first thing I want to point out here is that you've got this meter. See that times that meter? Another ground rule I need to mention. To win a duel, you only need 9,000 bricks. Anything more is overkill. Anything less, you won't win the duel. So 9,000 bricks equates to that ×5 that you see right there. So that's what you're shooting for. If you can get 9 to 10k bricks per round, you're going to do well. The meter is an animation that takes some time. So let's say you do a brick pinata and you get 200,000 bricks. You don't have to watch it go all the way until the rocket hits and shows that you won. As long as you get times 5, X out of it, and you're good to go. You'll see at the bottom where you start the battle, it says start duel. That's how you know that you've won and you're ready to go forward. You can also look at the game, the World Clash icon at the bottom there. It's the third, I guess second from the right, third from the left. That will have some sort of like green arrow or white arrow type icon above the time if you still have a duel that's ongoing. Okay, so 9,000 bricks. Keep that in mind. That's part of the gameplay strategy. There's more to say. But for now, I want to point out that not everybody's going to have Bumblebee. So for those who don't have Bumblebee, what do? I would recommend using something like Bumblebee. And I think this is a good place where we can swap out and go to Captain Kaboom. Captain Kaboom is going to go to the front pretty quickly. He's going to blow up, and then he's going to start shooting away with his blundergas, or whatever the pistols are called. I forget. Blunderbuss. There you go. So that's a good substitute for Bumblebee. And I'm keeping the loadout exactly the same here, but just swapping out for Captain Kaboom, and we're going to do another demo. So here we go. Same everything else, just swapping out that champion, and we'll do the same strategy. Shooting for 9,000 bricks. All right, so this map is pretty open. We got the triple, and there's a speed ramp that rotates. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go straight up the middle here, let the triple do its job. Slow mob, but a strong mob, so that could be interesting. What we're going to want is our champion to hit right away. I don't see any immediate openings. Maybe I'll go towards the ×2. Here we go. Create a path. Oh, that opens things up very nicely. And now clearly the right is open. We're just going to keep going that angle. Everything else is opened up as well. Not too bad. And I wasn't paying attention. So, yeah. Gameplay, teachable moment. Let's go ahead and get through this. Okay, we're back from that embarrassing moment. Always watch your front line. You know, I'm going to leave this on here because that's something you have to keep in mind. But it also reminds me of something that's worth teaching, and that would be if you get to a board where you know it's going to be heavy full of mobs, you might just want to home out of that to avoid the revive scenario that I just got right there. I shouldn't have lost that one, but had it been a heavy board where it would have been more trouble than it's worth, to avoid the revive that you just saw, you home out of it, top left. But we're going to get this one because I would like to win. That's just kind of how I'm wired. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way here. Same strategy as before. We're going to go up the right. And of course, the mob copter should help us get through that. And that should be that. All right. So the triple does pretty well. And, the triples, high mob rate, the bats are fast. That's really the point, is to get as many mobs as possible up to the top to establish your front line as high as possible. It really is a good way to get you through a match a little bit faster. But here's where, for me, I started to deviate from that in my decision-making process. When you get to some heavier mob boards, maybe like a hard or a super hard round, the triple, it makes it difficult to get what you want. So I switched to the Flamethrower because I felt like that covered me for more contingency. So that's what I'm going to do next. I got a bonus level, so I'm going to pause and get through that, and I'll come back and show you some more battles. Okay, we're back. I went ahead and got that bonus round out of the way. Should be noted that, see the World Clash icon? I've got the 2 white arrows. I'm active right now. I'm in a duel, even though I haven't done any actual brick collection. So I need to get on it, make sure that I don't waste any time and end up losing moves. So let me see here. Get back to the loadout that we had before. And this is what we left off with. So we had the triple, the bat, Captain Kaboom, and we had Mob Copter. So I felt like I got more out of the Flamethrower. And I felt like I needed something a little stronger than bat, so I went one step up, which to me is the Ninja. So it's a little less speed, but a little more strength, and that gives you a little bit more help on trying to cover yourself for maps that have more strong mobs and heavier mob amounts. In fact, you know what? It's worth noting that Ninja, I don't always use Ninja. Sometimes I'll go up to Alien, and I'm going to go ahead and do Alien now. A little bit slower than the Ninja. Further up is kind of the next notch up, but still even a little bit stronger. So you basically got that, Ninja, Alien. As you progress up, they get stronger but slower. So I'm going to go ahead and make that flip. So triple to Flamethrower, and I went ahead and went from Bat to Alien. And that's consistently what I use whenever I'm doing World Clash. Now, as far as the other items go, Champion versus Mob Copter, let's go ahead and do a demo of what I've got here so I don't dilute too much of what I've got going on. Give you a sense of how this changes things. And it looks like we got a fast mob coming our way, the Bat. Now look at this map. This is one of the best maps for a World Clash. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to go either up the left or the right. I'll choose the right. And had it been a slow mob, this would be a cinch. But with it being a fast mob, I may not get it as quick as I want. But basically, you want to go as fast as possible to the side, as long as possible until the mobs are getting about to the ×3 gate. And then you might win by then, but you may have to defer a little bit to get the bats out of your way. So here we go. If that was a slow mob, this would be so easy, but it wasn't meant to be. All right, so we might win this one, but I got to make sure I keep those guys off my front line. No revival scenario. There you go. That's an ideal map for World Clash. Something like that where you could just go. Now, I should get, with the ×4, my 9,000 bricks. And really, if we were able to do this all the time, that's how you place. Ooh, I may not get the 9,000. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Wasn't enough. But the speed, that's the lesson to learn from that, is to try to get as much as you can, as fast as you can. So unfortunately, that wasn't very helpful in terms of winning the duel. You'll see it goes probably to ×4. Yeah. So let's do another one. And we'll do the same loadout. And then after that, we'll make another rotation to kind of give you another set of options for how you want to do this. And this map's going to be hard, but it's got a slow mob. So let's go ahead and get on it. Now, Captain Kaboom is going to serve me well. I'm going to need to rotate between all three of these gates. Keep things moving. I'm going to send him up the middle, though, because I don't want him to hit the red death gate. That's not going to help. That helps a little bit. Mob Copter is really the best way to get through this thing. Get some of that, those puffy balloon mobs. I'm not sure what they're called, but they look like balloon animals. You got to get those out of the way so you get the normal smallness. There we go. So the Mob Copter and the Champion Captain Kaboom really came through for us here. The mobs basically just hold them at bay until you can get your champions and your ultimates on the field. So not too bad. So now, I want to show you, I'm almost done showing you battles here. I want to show you, if you don't like using Mob Copter is going to serve you well. But if you want to try something else that I think might even be more helpful, I would say Overdrive. That's what I'm going to sub out next. And we got our ×5. X out, start duel, good to go. I'm changing that to Overdrive. And we'll keep the champion for now. I'll make one more change after this battle, but I want to show you how Overdrive can help you too. You could probably use any champion you want as long as you have Overdrive. And it may help you with speed. It's gonna depend on the maps and a little bit of luck, but Overdrive, I think, is a viable strategy for trying to make it through World Clash battles. All right, so we got Chicken, kind of fast. Nexus, probably won't see him. And I'm going to evenly distribute between the three gates, probably sending my champions up the middle. So here we go. You know what? That's looking pretty fast. Let's just go up the middle, or up the right here. Yeah, this ought to be fast. There you go. If you see that one side or the other is working out for you and you've got kind of an exposed edge of the tower, just lean into that. As long as you don't have anything coming up the front line, do that. It's tricky because we want to make sure we get our 9,000 bricks in. Here we will, so that worked out pretty well. All right. So, little sidebar. You may be wondering what's the best I've ever done at World Clash. I've never made top 10. So, full disclosure, there's other people out there doing better than me. This happens during the week, so I just don't get that much time to sit there and just hammer away at maps. If it happened on the weekend, that'd be a different story. But during the week, you know, I have to work, so I can't make it a full, you know, 8 hours of doing these battles. But I made it into the 70s, so I feel like that's something. But I don't want to lie and say that I'm the top dog here. That's not the case. Maybe I'll get my day, but that is not today. So we are going to swap out one more thing, and that will be our champion. So if you've got Overdrive in place, you could probably go at any champion here. I don't think Great Normie is going to help you out much, but pretty much any other champion would. So for me, what tips the scales? A couple things I could mention here. I feel like Loot Boxer, he does so much damage that he's worth it, so you might want to try that. Captain Kaboom, just because of his similarity to Bumblebee. Of course, Bumblebee, but if you don't have him, then you can't do that. For me, I've been trying to level up the champions for so long, the Legends champions. So I'm going to go with Megatron here. And this is what I landed on. All the battles I've showed you up to this point, I went to Megatron because of two things. One, because trying to level him up. And then two, kind of a happy benefit. His siege tank ability targets the towers. So I feel like that just gets you out of some heavy rounds that much faster. And this will be the last one I show you. Or at least the last loadout change I'll show you. We got a fortress with ninjas. But this is a decent fortress. Let's go. We'll go up the middle. We'll keep those, I get those flotillas full. Make sure we don't get ambushed by ninjas here. So I'm going to put him straight in the siege tank. And that should help. Oh, I didn't even get a chance to multiply him with Overdrive. Just like that. So that's an ideal scenario for Megatron, because the siege tank goes straight for the target. And I should get my 9k. So if I could just do that over and over again, perfect. Of course, if you don't have Megatron, then I would say Captain Kaboom is your next best bet. Just a personal opinion. Love to hear the comments if anyone else disagrees. Probably be a good tip. There, that duel's done. A little note on Megatron. When you put him in the siege tank mode, he increases his footprint, and mobs tend to get collected behind him. So if you rely on that strategy, you may end up losing Megatron because he's blocking the mobs and he doesn't get any protection because he won't let anybody by. So you have to do a little bit of gameplay to make sure you've got some buffer in front of him so you can do that. So let's do one more and then we'll move on, and I think that will be that. Just hoping for another map to show you how Megatron is helpful here. And you can probably imagine other champions in its place. Alright, so this strategy will go to the ×3 on each side, give myself some buffer, and then probably put Megatron under the ×2. And that way I can target my towers. So here we go. Now this would be what I would consider a map with the heavy mobs. These mini blobs are going to overwhelm me, so I'm going to go ahead and put Megatron out on the sides. Ah, crap, I did that too late. Mr. Potato Head. Should have done that a little sooner. Alright, so I've got a little bit of a buffer now, so let me go ahead and get Megatron over here. And now, we're going to get him under the ×2. And I'm saving my Overdrive. It's a strategic move here. Get him converted. Alright. And that should pretty much put a nail in the coffin here. Alright, that was kind of a slow round because I deviated from my plan. I waited a little bit before I got to my Megatrons under the ×2 gate and converted him to the siege tank. But I think this overall will give you a sense of what your options are for loadouts and strategies to do World Clash. There's a lot of possibilities. No single one thing is going to be the best thing. If there is a best thing, I would love to hear about it. Please share. But otherwise, I think that this should give you some tools in your arsenal to try to succeed there. And let's just out of curiosity see how that jumped up on the ranks. I was in the 300s when we started this. Probably climbed up a little bit. Yeah, a little bit up within the 300s. So I've got 3 hours left. I can probably get to the top 100 if I stay at it for what it's worth. All right, so that's the end of this video. If I come across any comments or tips, that come from you guys that suggest that there might be another way. I'll make a part 2 and just make a note in the description to see the part 2. But in the meantime, try these things out. Let me know how it works for you. The rewards for World Clash are decent. You can get a good amount of skip-its. When it comes to the stars and the cards, I would say you get better rewards from other contests. But it's still worth the effort, especially if you're grinding and trying to get, things to level up your mobs. It's a good way to kind of stack what you're already getting from the normal battles. So give it a go. Drop comments. Let me know what you think. And that's it. So in the meantime, this is another victory for Gaming Dads. Gaming Dads out.